Welcome to Ring the Bell. My name is Joey. I'm your dad bod demigod, and as always, joining me is
the interdimensional Shiro, Moxie Molly.
We're here to talk about all the women who absolutely killed it this week on AEW and NXT. So let's dive right on into NXT this week. We kicked it off with a street fight between Mia Yim and Candice LeRae, and damn, just
listen. I don't prefer street fights usually. I think that they're like an unneeded accessory, but these ladies did well. I realized why they chose them to do it. They got very creative. It wasn't like the most entertaining match for me ever because these sorts of matches don't generally entertain me, but I was entertained and I was like, ooh, what's going to happen next?
I loved it. I'm complete opposite side of the spectrum. I'm a sucker for street fights and things like that. You know, the one thing that just keeps driving me crazy with WWE is just, does every weapon match have to start off with a kendo stick? Like, is that like a requirement now?
They're definitely like really overdoing it.
It's like the weapon of choice, but there were some spots in this match, like that drop kick that Mia gave Candice off of that platform through the catering table was like, yeah.
It was good.
I mean, if I was going to make myself get snacks, my optimal way of doing it would be via drop kick. So,
what about all the snacks flying in the air?
Well, that'd be great. Like, if I just got drop kicked in the face and then I'm like, ooh, Cheetos. That's the best thing ever.
What was that game? Fruit Ninja. It's kind of like Fruit Ninja. You're getting like, throwing at food.
Yeah, I was doing those, and it automatically makes me a Fruit Ninja.
Oh, clever.
I only bring the classiest gay jokes here on Ring the Bell. The match ended with Candice stole Mia's brass knuckles, clipped her with them, and then hit the Miss LeRae's wild ride off the top rope. Well, the top table, through a pile of chairs. It was awesome. I loved it.
It was, and let me tell you, I was on my seat, edge of my seat till it ended because once I got up on that table, it did not seem sturdy. And I was like, oh, is this going to end my teeter-totter? And like whoever's left.
They're just up there like trying to keep their balance.
Here they go.
I'm very glad it was a very sturdy table because I know that tables are, easily broken in the WWE. So the worst thing I could imagine is just that table splitting as they're standing on that top rope.
It looks like a plastic table, honestly, compared to where tables are usually wood, but kayfabe.
Life in plastic. It's fantastic. But Candice got the win, and then later on in the night, we saw a promo with her and Johnny where they said they have to start righting some of the wrongs that have happened to them. And I'm kind of curious as to what.
I don't think they're turning good. I think that they're gonna try to seek revenge on everyone.
I just wonder who's next, because it seemed like they're officially going to be done with Yimit-less, but Keith Lee's now both champions, so maybe they're not.
Maybe they're going to go to the other roster.
Dun, dun, dun. Speaking of Yimit-less, let's move on to the opposite of Limitless, which was Robert Stone and Aaliyah, because we got a backstage promo where he tried to get Shotzi to sign with the Robert Stone brand. Then Killian Dane appeared out of nowhere and beat him up, and then Shotzi ran over his ankle with the tank.
Yeah, a very tiny tank that he sold like it was the size of a walrus. And
he screamed, "I'm dying."
I know.
Oh my God, I'm dying!
I don't know if you noticed, even during the commercial, they still had it like up in the corner, picture in picture, and he was like, it was so funny. I really like that we're starting to see managers gain prevalence again, and I think that this promo and always finding a way to use Robert Stone is showing that the WWE really values him. Like, he's not just someone they picked up. They really want to use him, and they really want to find a storyline for him. Also, he lives in Florida, so it's probably easy with coronavirus to keep him on the show.
Very much so. And it's also a testament that it seems like Triple H and NXT really do care about character, which is a nice change of pace for some of the other wrestling that I've seen. But I also did enjoy, speaking of the tank, all of a sudden you cut up into that screen and now it's just him screaming with a tank on his foot, and then there's a Mountain Dew logo that just pops up.
Was there really? I didn't even know. Ring the Bell is not sponsored by Mountain Dew.
Even though it should be. Mountain Dew, we're here. Speaking of sponsorships and things that are happening next week on NXT, we get the title match already. Io is facing Tegan.
Yeah. That's happening.
I'm excited to see it. I think it's really soon. They didn't try to do anything with that.
There's not really a storyline there. That's why it's all very confusing.
It's weird. There's so many stories that are happening, but not for the title picture. And that's strange to me. But can't wait to see what those two can pull off because they are great competitors in the ring. But speaking of great competitors in the ring, this week we got the return of Mercedes Martinez. And as fans pointed out to me on Twitter, I called it last week. She faced off against Santana Garrett, who's still a magician.
Oh, I thought she was trying to be a pirate.
No, she had a top hat and a magic wand.
Well, just the stripes really strike me as odd.
They did kind of look like Disney Pirates of the Caribbean parade type of costume. I can see that.
And she's also really added a ton of fake tanner and thinned out her eyebrows, where I was getting a little bit certain angles. I was feeling like she looked like one of the Bellas. I was like,
yeah.
You trying to replace them? Because that ain't happening.
I mean, they are officially retired from in-ring competition, which I guess is why it's okay that she's using the Bella Twins flip over the rope entrance. I was really sad to see Santana get put in this situation where it seems like you already know she was going to lose the match as soon as Mercedes was coming to the ring.
Yeah.
I also want to point out that Beth Phoenix referred to her as the Midwestern sweetheart.
And she's known as the Midwest sweetheart.
She's from Ocala, Florida.
Yes, I'm very confused by that.
There's a lot of weird gimmicks that are being swirled around Santana, and they really need to give her something because she's so talented. I love her. On the topic of making things make sense, I wasn't really understanding Mercedes Martinez's new kind of like Chris Cyborg-esque gimmick that she's doing. What's going on?
A what cyborg?
Chris Cyborg, she's the MMA fighter. It's cool. It's a nice little change of attitude for her because previously I thought her gimmick kind of mirrored Mia Yim just a little bit, and I thought they were too similar. So it's nice to see her come out and kind of give her own thing if she did.
This is another that confused me. At the end, Mara Ranallo was like, Mercedes Martinez, in the past, a very affluential basketball player, now got a slam dunk on Santana Garrett.
Martinez, a former standout basketball player with the slam dunk of Santana Garrett.
And I was like, wow, we're really fishing here now, aren't we?
We'll figure it out. It's week 1. Hopefully it gets flushed out a little bit more.
Yeah, so people don't think we're always trash talking. We're saying we love her in-ring action. We're just very confused about what her gimmick is.
I love her. I love her gimmick, but I'm about to say some negative things about her in the ring because, yeah, maybe I'm too negative, but here's the thing. Santana had just a few little hope spots that were just strikes. She no-sold everything, including a super kick. Girl, like, you did get offense, but it was a veritable squash match because every single bit of offense Santana put into it got no traction.
Yeah, there's not much more we can say about it. I agree with everything you're saying. It's just, she is such a good wrestler. I didn't want anyone to think we were like saying she's not good, because she is. It's just whatever angle they're working her as a gimmick, we're kind of confused about. And I know how you're saying she no-sold everything, and rightfully, like, that doesn't make for a good match, but we also don't know what backstage told her. Like, are they trying to build her up to be a monster? We don't know.
I don't know what they're doing either, and I want to piggyback off what you said about, like, we're not downgrading the people. There's not a single person on TV right now that I think is a bad wrestler. There's just bad storylines and then sometimes an occasional bad match. But there's not a single human on that roster on that television that I think is not capable of putting on a good match. That's what happened on NXT this week. You guys let us know what you think. Leave some comments. Now it's time to move over to Fyter Fest with a Y, because it's night 2 and we didn't get too much out of the women's division again. It started off with a handicap match, Nyla Rose, and she faced off against jobbers. It was a handicap match, but it was KiLynn King and it was Kenzie Page. And this just seemed like a match that we get on Dark every single week.
It also felt like they did the same thing with Nyla as they kind of did with Mercedes. Like, they were just like, Nyla, go out there and annihilate. And then you two girls just, I mean, granted, Nyla sold a little bit more for the girls. Yeah, it just seems like they're both trying to build up these, like, monsters. Oh, and, like, Nyla's already got that going for her. You don't have to take that away from her. But 2 reviews ago, when Calamity Kate said that AEW just put a freaking commercial in the middle of a show, felt like this was very reminiscent of that. Like, we don't really know what they were giving us a commercial for, but it was just like, look at me, I'm Nyla, I can do all these huge moves over and over and over. And now I'm exhausted and can barely speak on the mic because I'm huffing and puffing for air. Like, if they were going to make it a squash, do it quickly. Like, it was like 5 minutes too long, and then it left her like kind of exasperated for the next moment, which almost made it feel like that moment was a little more weak than it could have been if she like wasn't gasping for air.
I see where you're coming from with that, and I agree. I did like the match. I thought it showcased some good spots. I want to say again, I was impressed by the facials and everything that we got from KiLynn King. That girl is talented.
I hope we see her signed. She's not more talented, but what she's showing us is better than a lot of the jobbers they then signed. And I feel like it's way too long. Like, sign her already.
Yeah, she's got a good grasp on what it means to be on television and react and do face in the ring. And I wish the world for this girl. Afterwards, we got a promo from Nyla Rose where she said that she's getting a manager. Well, why?
I thought it was kind of weird. I like how they tried to turn it into like everyone who has a manager has a belt, except Hikaru Shida doesn't have a manager.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I feel like I don't want to say what I think is going to happen, but I feel like they're giving her someone because they can't cut it and they don't want to cut their losses yet.
I love managers, but Nyla can talk. Nyla can cut a promo. I don't feel the need for managers for people who can talk. Like, a good manager is a veritable voice for the voiceless. You've got Paul Heyman and Zelina Vega. You had Lana. They really improve wrestlers when they get on a microphone. Whereas Nyla can cut a promo, and then I was just on Insta and someone suggested that the new manager for Nyla is going to be Vicky Guerrero, and I cringed. I hope it's not Vicky Guerrero.
I also hope it's not her.
You don't need her. Not for Nyla. You could definitely use her for some other girls in the division, but not Nyla.
Don't get me started. Okay, I'm not going to say my whole full thought. So I agree. It shouldn't be Vicky Guerrero.
I wouldn't mind seeing Vicky, pick up someone who doesn't have much of a voice. But I did want to point out one thing that happened during Nyla's promo that made me laugh. It was just they close-upped on Penelope Ford, and she was like, yeah, I could get a manager. And Sabian's right behind her just going, you have a manager!
You got a manager too, man.
Yeah. I caught that too. I thought it was hilarious. I'm glad you brought it up. I forgot about it. And I was like, oh, that's funny. I like what those two are doing together, just saying.
They engaged couple and they play well off each other. You can't really beat that kind of chemistry. This week we also got to see Dr. Britt Baker serve Big Swole her papers, and then Big Swole came back into the ring. This lost me. We're in the middle of COVID-19. The girl got suspended from the ring. They already have amped up security. How did Big Swole get back into the arena after being suspended and having to go through a COVID check?
Movie magic.
I just didn't need, Swole to come back in and attack Britt Baker and Rebel. I thought it was going to be something they could save possibly till next week, to elongate this story.
Yeah, because now Britt Baker has a broken nose?
I guess so. She screamed bloody murder just like Robert Stone did whenever she got smacked in the nose by Rebel. I'm really hoping soon that we get to see Rebel and Swole go at it on Dynamite, because I think that's the logical step with Britt being injured.
Yeah, agreed.
Overall, I like these segments that are coming from Britt Baker and Big Swole, but it's also a little telling that the large majority of storyline that we're in the women's division is centered around an injured superstar.
Whose fault is that?
Not gonna say it because I'd like to work for them one day, but overall I think there could be some more storytelling. If you need some women's division writers for AEW, there's two people right here. We would love to help you out.
Very much so. We'd be very good at it.
That's what happened on the Dynamite side. Moving over to Dark, we got to see some more Big Swole this week as she went up against Rache Chanel in a match that was good.
Yeah. It was good. It wasn't great. I felt like it went way too long. They also put Britt Baker in the, stadium halfway through the match, supposedly. That's when we were supposed to realize that happened. And then they said that Swole got, more intense once she saw Britt Baker. But, I'm a little confused because I'm thinking all the way back to the beginning. Why does Swole hate Britt Baker?
I think Britt got in her face back in the day, or she's just tired of Britt's attitude.
Because Britt never called Swole a conspirator.
You know what this smells like? Aubrey Edwards. She's sending Big Swole. Conspirator.
It wasn't great. It was an okay match. This is unfortunately one of the talents on Dark I don't hope or think we might see again later. It just wasn't, their energies didn't match. So it felt like, it wasn't exciting.
It didn't. It was a little bit, I liked the gimmick of being the fashionista. That's a solid little area. She's kind of trying to give us Jenny from NXT UK, but with a goofy Santina Marella type comedy gimmick. And I was like, wrapping that up in a nice little bow. It's time to say, hey, Moxie.
Hey, Joey.
What is your last moment of the week? I don't know what you did. I was chugging Mountain Dew. But you go first.
Could I not? Because honestly, this week of wrestling did not excite me that much, so I don't really have one.
My boom blast moment is definitely going to the finale of the street fight, the Miss LeRae's wild ride into the pile of chairs. I thought it was sweet. I liked it. Can I give a second place an honorable mention since you didn't have one?
Take mine.
My honorable mention is going to Penelope Ford and Kip Sabian. I'd like a manager. You have a manager.
That is really funny.
Hey, Moxie.
Hey, Joey.
Where can the people find you? I'm so bad at directions. You're over
the opposite of where you're at.
You can find me all across social media at Joey_Mayberry, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. My show, Tops and Bottoms, is each and every Sunday on my YouTube channel. And also, I have a new show coming out this week on my YouTube channel called The Great Eight, where I'm going to talk about the best moments in Lita's career.
You can find me across all social media platforms at that's THEE, Moxie Molly. And if you like what you saw here, please literally ring the bell below to subscribe for all of our newest content, interviews, reviews, lives, etc., etc. And please don't forget we have a Patreon where you can support us monthly or just once every now and then. And we also do have a really cool Teespring below.
I want to speak about our Patreon real quick. I know a lot of you have been asking about Impact Wrestling and wanting us to talk about it. There's a tier on our Patreon. If we hit that level, we're going to talk about Impact Wrestling. And I'm asking you guys as a personal favor, because I am getting through AEW this week, and I keep watching the Knockouts division, and the Knockouts division in Impact is on fire. It's so good, and I want to talk about it. Please go check Patreon out so I can tell you guys all about freaking Impact Wrestling, because it's fantastic.
Yeah, but to get there, you have to subscribe to our Patreon.
Please, I'm begging you. Awesome. Well, that's all that happened on AEW and NXT this week. Moxie, are you ready to talk about it again next week?
Let's hope they give us more of a showstopper.
I'm ready for it. It's going to happen. Until then, everyone, please stay safe. There is a virus out there, despite what the government tells you. We love you. Be safe. Goodbye.